Hello students, today we are going to continue with the topic of cost of capital. Now, before continuing with the cost of capital, let us just have a look at the sources of long-term finance which the company has. Apart from that, we'll see how to calculate individual cost for all the given sources. Okay, and then we'll see overall cost calculation, and we'll have one sum on weighted average cost of capital. So let us start with the sources of long-term finance. Now, if you see what all sources that the company has can be divided into own and borrowed sources. As you may be aware about what comes in the own sources, that is equity share capital, preference share capital, and retained earnings, or you can also call it as a reserves and surplus. And when it comes to borrowed sources, for long-term company can either get funds from debenture by issuing debentures, or company may also go for term loan. Term loan is a specific loan which is taken for a long tenure. Now, if you want to check with respect to cost what all company has to pay for these sources, for availing all these finance facilities or sources, company has to pay some or the other kind of a cost. Now just let us have a look at what cost that the company has to pay. For all sources, company will have to pay dividend, right? So what is the difference in the dividend given to the equity shareholders and preference shareholders? You may be aware that preference shareholders gets preferential rights and they get fixed percentage of dividend, whereas equity shareholders dividend rate is not fixed, they get dividend at fluctuating rate. Okay, so retained earnings basically refers to the profits which are retained in the business. Means profit which is not distributed as a dividend will be shown as a retained earnings. So in case of a borrowed sources, basically what is the cost for the company is nothing but the interest which company has to pay. Now, most of the times the interest rate which the company pays is fixed, but in case of debenture and term loan, if you see whatever interest the company is paying, company is going to get also tax benefits. And that is the main reason when we are going to calculate cost of borrowed funds, we are going to take that factor, that is tax factor, into the account while calculating cost of borrowed sources. Now, we'll go for calculation of cost of each source in detail with the formulas which we are going to use for the same. So let us have a look at how to calculate cost of debenture. Now, before understanding how to calculate cost of debenture, let us have a look at the types of debentures. Now, there are different types of debentures, but with respect to calculation part, there are two types of debenture based on which the calculation may vary. So, cost of redeemable debentures, we are going to use the formula and we are going to make use of a redeemable value as well as sale value. In case of irredeemable debentures, the debentures which are of irredeemable nature, so we are going to use the second formula. Now just have a look at the formula. So first we'll try and understand the formula of irredeemable debentures. These are the debentures which will be considered as a long-term source. Okay, and redeemable debentures may be considered as a medium-term source since they will be redeemed after a certain point of time. Now, in the cost of irredeemable debentures, you can see KD equals to interest in bracket 1 minus T. Now, I refers to the interest rate which you are going to pay on debenture, whereas T refers to the tax rate. And sale value is nothing but the net proceeds which you are going to get by issuing such debentures. Now, let us have a look at the redeemable debenture formula. So, KD equals to interest 1 minus T, that is common for both the cost, plus In addition to that, we are going to take the difference between redeemable value and sale value divided by the number of years, and all that will be divided by average of the two values. Okay, now just let us have a look at redeemable value. What is redeemable value? Now suppose if company is issuing debentures today and it is going to redeem them after 5 years, so we are going to take that value which will be a redeemable value after 5 years. Okay, and whatever value that the company is issuing at today, so that is called as a sale value. Okay, so cost of irredeemable debentures and cost of term loan, you can see very similar formula, since both of the sources that the company has to pay interest on it, and because of both the sources company makes some savings in terms of taxes, so that saving will be referred to in the formula 1 minus t. Okay, so for every 1 rupee, how much taxes you have saved. So accordingly, we'll be able to calculate the actual cost that the company is paying for the borrowed sources. Now in the next slide, we'll have a look at cost formula of cost of preference. Now similarly, like debentures, we have redeemable preference shares and irredeemable preference shares. Okay, formula is very similar, but here you will not find 1 minus t. The reason being, dividend is entirely taxable, you don't get any tax benefits. Okay, so sale value refers to the net proceeds which the company is going to get by issuing shares. Now how it is calculated, you can check the formula. So sale value equals to face value, that is the original value of a share. If company has issued these shares at premium, then that premium will be added in the sale value or face value. Then if company has issued such shares at the discount rate, then that discount will be minus from face value. Apart from that, if company incurs some cost, floating cost I mean, so that cost will be minus from that face value. The reason being that much amount less that the company is going to get. So just you can see the formula, cost of preference equals to irredeemable preference share, I mean dividend upon sale value into 100. And in case of a redeemable preference share, same thing we are going to do. In the dividend, we are going to add redeemable value and sale value difference divided by n years, that is the redemption time, divided by the average of the two values. And since all these costs are to be mentioned in terms of percentage, so we are multiplying by 100. Now let us have a look at how to calculate cost of equity. Now calculation of a cost of equity is a bit difficult because there's no fixed formula. Depending on the information available, company cost of equity can be calculated with the three formulas. So these three formulas are based on the three approaches. If in the sum you have the information available about the dividend and the market price of a share, then you can use the first formula, that is dividend upon present market price of a share into 100. So second formula will be concentrating on the earnings that the shareholders are getting. So in case of um, information is available about earnings, you can use the second formula, that is E upon market price into 100. Now E refers to EPS here, that is earning per share, and I have also mentioned the formula how to calculate earning per share. So net profit minus preference dividend divided by number of equity shares. Now, whenever company earns any profit, that net profit will first go to the preference shareholders as a dividend, whatever certain percentage of dividend company will be paying, that will be minus from the net profit, and then the remaining amount will be divided into the number of equity shares, and that's how you will arrive at earning per share. Now, the next formula will refer to the formula which is based on the growth rate. Now, it may happen that the company or shareholders are expecting certain growth rate every year. So based on that information, you can use the third formula, that is cost of equity equals to expected dividend, that is D1, dividend after 1 year, divided by market price in current market price, that is market price in the 0 year. So in this formula, we are going to add growth rate and we are going to multiply that by 100 to get this rate in the percentage form. Okay, so you can see cost of retained earnings or general reserves is mostly taken as cost of equity. Cost of equity and cost of retained earnings and cost of general reserve is similar. So actually cost of retained earnings may be much lesser than the cost of equity, since brokerage cost may not be incurred. But for normally for calculation purpose, you can consider cost of equity equal to cost of retained earnings. Okay, now first whenever there is a sum, you have to first calculate individual cost of each source that is given in the sum, and then we are going to calculate overall cost. Now how to calculate overall cost? Now you can see the format here, calculation of weighted average cost of capital. So you have to prepare all these columns. So preparing first three columns is very easy, right? Source. So whatever sources that you will find in the sum, you have to just mention the sources and the amount raised from those sources. Then you can add it up together and you can mention the total capital. So weights refers to the proportion of each source in the total amount. We'll see with the help of sum how to calculate this, and always see when you calculate weights for different sources, total of all those weights will come to 1. Okay, so how it comes to 1, we'll see it in the sum. Okay, so with the earlier formulas which we have referred to, we'll be able to calculate the individual cost of each source, and that cost will be mentioned here as a specific cost. So as we know that it comes in percentage, I have mentioned there in percentage, right? So the last column, that is weighted cost, is nothing but the cost, specific cost of each source multiplied by the weight or the proportion of that source in the total capital. Okay, now let us have a look at one sum. Okay, so you can go through this sum. You can see company has the capital structure in which that company has 4 different sources: equity share capital, term loan, preference share capital, and general reserve. Okay, so the total amount of capital is 40 lakhs. Okay, and apart from this, information given is expected dividend per share is rupees 2 with the expected growth rate 7%, and market price of a share is 20 and the tax rate given is 50%. Now with this information, we'll try and calculate first the cost of individual source. Now first you can see what all sources are given: equity capital, term loan, preference capital, and general reserve. Now you can see a rate of equity dividend is not mentioned, since um, dividend to the equity shareholders is not fixed, whereas term loan bears 14% interest rate. Preference capital, um, your company is paying 10% dividend. Okay, general reserve, so as we have discussed, cost of equity will be applicable to general reserve as well. So let us calculate first cost of equity, then cost of term loan, then preference, and for general reserve you can consider cost of equity, right? So first we'll calculate cost of equity, and the formula which we are going to refer to, just read the information and check out which formula is applicable here. So in information, additional information, it is said that the expected dividend per share is 2 and growth rate is 7%. Now from the information you can see that in the sum growth rate is given, so we are going to use growth rate formula. So let's go to the formula. So cost of equity and general reserve, as we said, that they will be cost of equity will be applicable to cost of general reserve as well. So first we'll calculate cost of equity, and the formula which we are going to use is cost of equity equals to expected dividend upon present market price plus growth rate, and we are going to multiply by 100 to get it in percentage. Now on next line you can show how much is the expected dividend. So you can see here expected dividend is rupees 2 and the growth rate is 7%. Market price is 20. So you can see uh, expected dividend is 2 divided by present market price is 20 plus growth rate is 7%. So to make addition easier, 7% is nothing but for 100 it is 7. So it comes to 0.07. So we are going to add first that 0.07, and then we are going to multiply the answer by 100. Now let us check how much is the answer. So when you divide 2 by 20, you will get 0.1 here. Okay, then plus 0.07, so you will get 0.17, and when you will multiply by 100 you will get 17%. Okay, so same 17% cost of equity will be applicable to the cost of general reserve. So KE equals to cost of equity. So we'll just check it how this will come. I'll just check. We have calculated cost of equity and that comes to 17%. Now cost of general reserve will be equal as a cost of equity, so it also comes to 17%. Now let us have a look at how to calculate the cost of term loan. Right? So the formula which we are given in the earlier side is taken KT, that is cost of term loan, equals to interest that is the um, amount of interest which is paid on that term loan, in bracket 1 minus t. So because of this interest rate you have saved some amount in terms of taxes, so that tax saving benefit we are going to take into consideration, and that divided by the sale value. Here we are going to take the amount of loan as a sale value, and we are going to multiply by 100 to get it in the percentage rate. Right? So next line you can check. So if you see here 14% term loan and the amount of loan is 10 lakh. Okay, so we are going to see when you will put, sorry, amount of term loan is, okay, cost of term loan, the formula we have written already. Now interest at 14%, interest on 10 lakh at 14% rate comes to 1,40,000. So 1 minus T stands for tax rate. Since in the sum they have given 50% tax rate, so 50% means for 100 it is 50, so it comes to 0.5. So from 1 when you minus 0.5, 0.5 will be the answer. 0.5 multiplied by 1,40,000, it will come 70,000, and 70,000 divided by 10 lakh into 100. So just find out the answer. Now you can see cost of term loan comes to 7%. Now most of the times you can see when the tax rate is 50%, what happens? Whatever amount of interest you're paying, that is in this case 1,40,000 you're paying. So you can see almost half of the interest is saved, that is only 70,000 you are paying as an interest and only 70,000 is saved taxes. So actual cost comes to 70,000 only, and which is 7% on 10 lakh. Okay, so cost of term loan comes to 7%. So which is exactly half of the actual rate. Okay, so next we'll see calculation of cost of preference share capital. The formula, since here nothing is said about redeemable value, it means it's a irredeemable preference share. So the formula which we are going to use is cost of preference share equals to divided upon sale value into 100. So normally this will be the same rate of dividend which you are paying on the preference. So let us have a look at the sum. Okay, here you can see 10% preference share capital. Now, if you see 10% of 2 lakh is the dividend which you are paying on preference. Okay, so same dividend on the same amount will come as the same percent. So that is the reason why the answer is going to come 10% only. Just we'll see with the help of sum. Now, if you see that the dividend, 10% dividend paid on rupees 2 lakh comes to 20,000. That dividend, if you calculate on 2 lakh, it is 10%. So now we are going to calculate overall cost, since once we have calculated individual cost, now we are going to use the format. Okay, so source, amount, weight, specific cost, and weighted cost. Now you can see in sources we are going to mention all the 4 sources with their amounts. Then you can see I have made total of all these amounts. Then now we are going to calculate weights. Okay, so now how to calculate weights? Weights is nothing but the proportion of each source in the overall capital. So just like you calculate your percentage of marks, similar manner we are going to calculate this. Now we can see total amount is 40 lakhs. Out of this 40 lakhs capital, 15 lakh is equity. If you will try and find out the weight or a proportion of equity in the total capital, so you'll be calculating 15 lakhs, that is the source of equity, divided by 40 lakhs. Okay, which comes to 3 point, sorry, 15 lakh upon 40 lakhs, which comes to 0.375. Okay, it means almost 37% is the equity. Now similar manner we'll calculate how much is the term loan in the total amount. So 10 lakh upon 40 lakhs, so you just check out how much it comes. 10 lakh upon 40 lakhs, so obviously it is 25%. It means it will come 0.25. Preference share capital, if you see, same way, 2 lakh upon the total amount of capital, that is 40 lakhs, it comes to 0.05. Similar manner, 13 lakhs out of 40 lakhs, it comes to 0.325. Okay, so we are going to mention all these weights, and we are going to mention the specific cost which we have calculated in the earlier slides. Okay, so let us have a look at all this information together. Now you can see all the values if you will put in the format. Okay, so have you understood how to calculate weights? What we have done? So each source upon the total amount is what your weights means or proportion means. So 15 lakhs divided by 40 lakhs comes to 0.375. So 10 lakh divided by 40 lakhs comes to 0.25. 2 lakh divided by 40 lakhs comes to 0.05. So 13 lakh divided by 40 lakhs comes to 0.325. So all this together will form 1. So what does it mean if you consider total amount of 40 lakhs as 100%? Out of it, equity capital is around 38%, term loan is 25%, preference capital is 5%, and general reserve is around 33%. Okay, so this weights which we have calculated is in decimal points. If you will multiply it by 100, you will get the percentage of proportion of that each source in the total capital. Now, next column, we have mentioned the individual cost or specific cost, which we have calculated in the earlier slides. So, cost of equity came to 17%, and since same is applicable for general resource also, so we have took that 17% for general resource also. So, 14% was the term loan, but since the tax rate is 50%, half of the interest which you have paid, because of that your taxes being saved. So net or effective cost of loan comes to only 7%, that is half of the 14% you can see. Okay, and preference dividend 10% is entirely chargeable to taxes, so 10% came as a 10% only, which we have shown in the answer. Now, calculating weighted cost is very easy. What we are supposed to do is you have to just multiply weights by the specific cost, and that's how you will get weighted cost. So first calculate cost of weighted cost for equity. So 0.375 multiplied by 17%. Okay. Second, calculate for term loan weighted cost. 0.25 into 7% will be the weighted cost. Okay. So this is how you are supposed to calculate weighted cost for all the four sources, and weighted average cost of capital or overall cost of capital of a company is nothing but total of all these weighted costs. So just try calculating it and just find out how much it comes to. Okay. Now you can have a look at the final answer. So when we have calculated weights with the specific cost of each source, you got the weighted cost and total comes to 14.16%. What does it mean? So overall cost that the company is paying for all these sources comes to 14.16%. Means for every 100 rupees, company is paying around 14.16 paise as a cost. Okay. So hope you have understood the sum. So um, thank you. And if you wish to subscribe or you want to get more videos in future, you can subscribe the channel. Thank you.